Hello and welcome. Today, I'm going to explain how to use the question interaction. Using a question in Mindstamp is a great way to boost engagement and collect valuable responses. It's also incredibly easy to use. Why don't we get started and I'll show you what I mean. The first thing to note is that the question is located right down here on our interactive toolbar. It's number 4 in the list. Now when you click on question, it gives you some configuration options, including exactly what time you want the question to show up, as well as what type of question you want to ask. Now, Mindstamp offers so much more than just your traditional free response or multiple choice. We've got those options, but we also have a choose all that apply, drawing response, number response, date response, video and voice response, rating 1 to 5, drop down select, and a Likert scale, which is your strongly disagree to strongly agree. That's quite the variety. You can already start to imagine some of the use cases here. You think about customer service, using a rating 1 to 5 or even a Likert scale to assess their overall experience and whether or not they'd tell a friend. You think about the video response in a talent acquisition use case. Maybe you've got someone who wants to work at your company, but you want to know more about them first. Back in the day, you'd have to give them a couple of free responses or maybe multiple choice. But those answers are easy to spoof. Someone could easily look on their phone and figure out a good answer to a question like, how would you deal with an upset customer? By using a video response, you can get a video of that potential candidate that shows their facial expressions, mannerisms, tonalities, very important things in the field. You think about the voice response and how it could be used in a language translation course. The user submits their rendition of a word, and you, the teacher, grade whether or not it's correct. You think about a date response. Maybe you're asking a client when they're interested in making a move. The opportunities are endless. Once you've selected the type of question you want to ask, it's time to write your prompt. You can do that in the field right below, and then you can choose if you want to add a time limit to the question. You could give your users no limit, 10 seconds, or 30 seconds. You can also store their answer as a variable and use it later on. Make sure to check out our video on variables and conditional logic to learn more about that. Once you've set the time limit, you can determine if this is a skippable question or if it's required. And you can have the prompt read out loud as an accessibility option. From there, you can decide if there's a correct answer. Of course, that's optional. And then you save your question or add another question and create what's called a question set. Now, we're going to cancel out of this one because I have a few examples prepared for you. The first example I've chosen today is a drawing response. Now, I've chosen this example on purpose to illustrate how ultra simple Mindstamp makes it to add impactful questions to your content. As you can see, we've got 4 blocks on each side. So as a video creator, I can very easily come into the question interaction and create a connect column A to column B, something that previously wouldn't have been accessible in a normal video. So I initiate that, and the viewer sees this. The experience is paused. They're told to connect column A to column B, and they can just easily click draw response here. And now they're able to take what's on screen, use it as a whiteboard, and, like the question said, connect column A to column B. They go ahead and save the drawing and finish, and now on the back end, you as the creator will see their response. Now in this example, we use the drawing response to connect column A to column B, but keep in mind, there's a ton of different use cases for something like this. Like I said before, the drawing response turns whatever's on the screen into the viewer's whiteboard. So you could very easily have a component in an assembly video, and you could have them circle a tiny portion of the video, and that would be their answer. Get creative with it. Now, let's move on to another example use case. This time, we're going to talk about multiple choice. Now I know, earlier I said there's so many other ways to collect responses aside from multiple choice, but I'm going to show you how Mindstamp puts the power of interactivity behind multiple choice. Let's add a question and I'll show you what I mean. Let's say something like, what department are you training for? And we'll allow this to be multiple choice with 3 choices. We're going to say marketing, HR, and sales. Now, what you're going to immediately notice here, and this is where multiple choice questions evolve, each one of these answers has its own click action. That means that you can say, hey, if someone answers marketing to this question, we're going to go ahead and switch them to a different video entirely. If someone says HR, we'll go ahead and play a quick video clip and then let them continue in this experience. And if someone answers with sales, they might be ready to fill out the application already, so we'll go ahead and open a link. So in this way, you can very easily create a fork in the road in your video and direct viewer traffic. And that's just one example. Think about if you were using this same strategy on lead pre-qualification. You could ask a viewer which of your company's services they're most interested in and reroute them accordingly based on their answer. Or maybe you're asking buying power related questions. Depending on what rating they tell you their credit score falls under, or their annual income, for example, you can reroute them to different products or services. Or even in customer service, you could ask how they've enjoyed their experience, and those who say great go one way, and those who say not so great go a different way. The opportunities are endless. Let's go ahead and add another question, creating a question set, but this time we're going to have correctness involved. We'll do something simple. Let's just say 2 plus 2 equals what? We're going to make this a multiple choice. We'll have 2 options here, and of course one of these is correct. So, what if a user ends up picking the wrong one? You have the ability to say, hey, go ahead and play a quick video or audio clip explaining why it's actually a different answer. Or if you want to really ensure understanding, you can come down here and check repeat question until answered correctly, and then say if they get it wrong, change time in the video back to where you first started talking about that topic. That way, they won't be able to get through this portion without getting the right answer. They'll continue having to go back and rewatch material. And in a use case that's more serious than 2 plus 2, that might be very important. Now let's go see what these questions would look like from a viewer's perspective. We hop back, and the experience is paused. It's got the question here with our options. We'll go ahead and answer these the way that we want to, and we are able to proceed with the content. Now, that brings me to a good point. What if you wanted to change the color of those question buttons, or move the location of the question? This is all easy to do right under Design. Let's take a quick detour. Now, if you wanted to change the buttons, you're able to do that right here under Buttons. You could make the background a different color, change the border color, text color, and even how round the button is. Furthermore, hopping over to Questions, you can determine if you want the question to take up half the screen or the entire screen. If it's half, you can choose whether it's on the left or the right side. You can decide whether or not you want to show your viewer their correctness or the number of questions in a row. And you can change the color of the background, including making it transparent. Let's head back to the video. To recap, you can use questions to pre-qualify leads, boost NPS scores, evaluate your learners, drive engagement, ensure comprehension, screen potential new hires, create fork-in-the-road branching experiences, seamlessly direct viewer traffic, collect valuable responses, learn about visitor preferences, and so much more. We can't wait to see how you'll use the question interaction to maximize your videos. And don't forget to check out our other tutorial videos to learn about all of MindStamp's powerful interactions. Until next time, happy innovating.